Two news investigation centered around police reform and a secret list that police and prosecutors don't want you to know about.
The issue here, Brady lists, a list of police officers who might have a questionable past. One such officer, former Utah Highway Patrol Trooper LISTINE, who arrested innocent people for driving under the influence. UHP knew it had a problem, but the department did not tell prosecutors about it for 12 long months.
New KUTV investigative reporter Wendy Halloran is digging into this story for us tonight. Wendy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Well, they're called Brady cops, named after the famous U.S. Supreme Court case Brady versus Maryland. Cops who have a documented history of lying on the job. Prosecutors keep Brady lists and are required to disclose a history of untruthfulness and bias, among other things, to defendants and their attorneys whenever that officer is involved in their criminal case. My investigation reveals some police department top brass either don't know about the misconduct or they know about it but fail to investigate and hold their own accountable. And sometimes they fail to turn that information over to the district attorney before it goes to trial, leaving freedom at stake.
Utah Highway Patrol Trooper LISTINE had a documented history of being untruthful on the witness stand.
I did call her a liar, and I think it was merited.
At least 3 judges dismissed cases she was involved in, saying Steed had credibility issues. The most damning piece of evidence, this internal memo from Steed's boss, where he calls into question the validity of some of her arrests. He warned, this is something that needs to be addressed before defense attorneys catch on, and her credibility, along with the DUI squad's credibility, is compromised. 2 News has confirmed these actions landed Steed on the Davis County Attorney's Brady list.
So what we're looking for are general instances of untruthfulness.
Salt Lake County District Attorney GILL also maintains a Brady list, but declined to give it to us, saying it would be a public indictment.
Is it a scarlet letter on their chest? Is that your concern?
There may be multiple different officers and different kinds of conduct, and not all of them tied to veracity issues or truthfulness. Our obligation is to ensure a fair process, not to create a list for ridicule.
In 1963, the U.S. Supreme Court in Brady v. Maryland ruled that police and prosecutors cannot withhold exculpatory evidence, meaning evidence that could show a defendant's innocence. Another case, GILL v. the United States, also requires prosecutors to share information like past dishonesty by officers, prejudice or racial bias, and more that would affect the credibility of that officer's testimony on the witness stand.
The danger of a lying cop is it's almost unfathomable.
JENSIE Anderson is the legal director of the Rocky Mountain Innocence Center.
The danger is multifold. A lying cop can make it so that an innocent person gets convicted of a crime that they didn't do. And not only then do they send the innocent person to prison, but the real perpetrator may still be on the street and may still be committing crimes.
Criminal defense attorney David Ferguson claims the state often fails to properly disclose Brady cops to the defense.
I've only had 2 cases where I found out any prior discipline related to an officer in a case. And that was because those officers had already made the news, and they were all already very well known for some kind of misconduct. I've never received it in any other instance. I've never received any kind of record at all in any case.
Our investigation revealed that Utah has no official standards for Brady lists. There is no centralized statewide Brady database. And 2 News discovered not every county attorney keeps one. We contacted all 29 county attorneys in our state and found 8 counties keep an active list. 8 said they do not keep one. 12 counties say they would keep a Brady list but currently don't have any officers on it. We're still waiting to hear back from 1 county. Even still, police misconduct records are secret, kept hidden even when complaints pile up.
Lack of transparency in police departments with police records, whether they're investigative records or whether they're records of police misconduct, are something we've never been able to get.
It's a problem for county attorneys as well. GILL claims his office is constantly reaching out to law enforcement agencies to remind them they must hand over information to his office.
We can only turn over the information that is turned over to us. Otherwise, we don't know what's going on out there.
Have you lost any cases because of a dirty cop? It wasn't disclosed to your office.
Well, over the years, certainly. I mean, that was one of my frustrations.
And we've seen cases play out in real life where critical cases have been lost based on an officer's character or competence.
There are currently no repercussions for law enforcement that don't disclose misconduct. Bountiful Police Chief Tom Ross is the president of the Utah Chiefs of Police Association. He says chiefs know full well they have to hand over this information.
Was it reported? If it wasn't, then shame on the agency and or chief or sheriff or anyone that did not put that process in place.
Ross says dishonest cops should be exposed.
We don't want officers that are liars.
GILL and several lawmakers are behind bills in the upcoming legislative session to try and create a statewide Brady list. They also want to give the Peace Officer Standards and Training Board more power to suspend or revoke an officer's certification if they act dishonestly or deceptively.
Myself and 40 other prosecutors around the country, in an open letter, we said that we should have both a federal database as well as a state database, because then there's no question that if you engage in this kind of behavior, then you will go on that list and that list will be published.
Now, Brady lists are kept across the country. Some states are very transparent and make it publicly available with a public records request. I can tell you for a fact that Arizona does just that. I got the list and there was a mother load of names on it from every police agency in the state. Police disciplinary records are public there as well, so you can find out what landed that officer on the list.
Well, Wendy, thank you so much for that report. This is your first night on air here at 2 News, though you've been here for a while digging. I think people at home are always wondering, investigative reporters, have you been digging and like asking tough questions since you were in kindergarten, or is this a newfound adult hobby?
Pretty much. I can find out what you did in the 3rd grade, basically. I've always had a passion for being a truth seeker, and I have a special passion for people who have faced grave injustices in this country. I specialize in the criminal justice system, police misconduct, and wrongfully accused and convicted cases. It's definitely a passionate topic for me, always is. So I just love what I do, and I try to hold the powerful accountable and help right wrongs.
All right, Wendy, thank you very much. Glad to have you. Welcome to the team.